It's Dr. Shah here. We're here with Sean Timmermann. Am I saying that name correctly?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. At Gruene Botanicals, one of our local CBD shops. And I just wanted to stop by to learn a little bit about the CBD shop here and ask Sean some questions. Sean, why did you decide to open up this place?
Was hopeful that one day Texas would follow suit with some of the other states and at least have some kind of medical program at one point working into recreational, and wanted to be on the forefront of that.
Fantastic, fantastic. You probably have quite a bit of different patients that come through, or clients. You say clients more than patients like I do, but they are your patients essentially, right? They come with different medical diagnoses and they want relief from them. What are some common symptoms and complaints that people are looking for some relief from?
Definitely pain, body pain, sleep. Anxiety is a big one we deal with every day.
Do you have like a bestseller, something you find that is very frequently used here?
The gummies honestly have to be the best seller, and I think the reason that is because cannabis is kind of new to a lot of people in Texas. So that's an easy way for somebody who is unfamiliar with something to dose themselves. But definitely the gummies, the flower. We have a great variety of flower that will help with different symptoms.
Do you have any words of advice when people are starting fresh, like they have no idea where to start? Do you kind of give them advice, hey, this is how I would do it?
Definitely one of the first questions I ask is, if there's a symptom you're trying to find relief from, what would that symptom be? And then from that helps me direct them into a particular dosing platform or type of cannabinoid, whether it be CBD, CBG, CBN, THC, based on that answer.
Okay. Do you have like a follow-up with these patients? Like, hey, you come in for this, try this for a certain period of time, let me know how it's working for you? Or do you kind of like have like a regimen for them to build up to a dose?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Actually, I always recommend starting low so that it's not uncomfortable, because people can get turned off to the whole industry if it's their first experience is uncomfortable. And then I do tell them it takes time. This is something, again, depending on symptom a lot of times. Your first dose, you might not find all the relief you want. Can take 2-3 days, sometimes 2-3 weeks to build up and start finding the full benefit of cannabis.
Awesome. I pretty much do the exact same thing. I always start low and work my way up. Explain that these symptoms have been around for a while. So, although, I always try to tell them this isn't a panacea, this isn't a cure-all. This is going to help your quality of life if you do it right. Start low and then work your way to a goal. And then I tell them to make a journal. If they can, make a journal of how they're feeling after the first week, after the second week, after they make an adjustment. I tell them to stick with it usually for a couple of, at least 5 to 7 days before they make another adjustment. Because sometimes people don't feel good after one dose and they're like, I want to increase it again. And then they overdo it and then they can get something, a worse side effect from it. Do you know a little bit about, you mentioned all the different cannabinoids, so can you go over like CBG and explain what that's good for?
CBG has been around forever, becoming more popular, I guess you could say, or more known at this point. It's my go-to for nerve pain.
Okay.
Anybody dealing with nerve pain, one of the cannabinoids I definitely recommend for anxiety. CBG is great, and there's not a bad part of that plant, in my opinion.
So how does it come in? It comes in both flower and in like a gummy?
CBG is typically found, and it's easier to find in flower. There is smaller amounts in some tinctures. There's some CBG isolate tinctures available, gummies, like broad spectrum gummies with added CBG.
Okay.
It's available in just about every form and dosing platform that somebody would want.
One of the things that people ask for when they start medications, they're worried that, is this something that's going to make me feel worse? Is it going to interact with other medications that I'm on in a negative way? And the honest truth is, do you hear any of that with your patients?
I don't hear a lot of patients saying that they had like bad interactions with their cannabis and any prescriptions. What I find is that if they don't separate their doses, that maybe one or the other won't work. That for their body to process both, they have to separate their doses.
Good advice. I think that's really good advice, to separate out one medication from the other. Give it some time to metabolize before you start the next one, at least an hour, so it has some time to metabolize. That's very similar. So I say that very similar. Other products that you find that are best sellers here?
It's a pretty even spread, you know. We have different people that we have a great client base here. I love everybody that comes in here, but it's everybody, you know, from the younger adult looking for anxiety help or that has had an accident looking for pain relief to, you know, the elderly just trying to find a way to make their day easier. So as far as like popular, I mean, it's a pretty even spread. The flower, because I do have the best flower in Texas.
Okay. All right.
So the flower's a big hit here. But that's not the only staple in the shop. You know, the tinctures, the topicals, it just all depends on what that individual is trying to find relief from.
What about, so for people that smoke it with the flower, do you have different ways of getting the cannabis in here? Do you sell different avenues or vectors to get the cannabinoid in the person, or is it only for rolling paper, or do you use a bong? How does that work out here?
I recommend a lot of people to try to bake and make their own oils and stuff with the flower.
Okay.
That's where if they can figure that out, then that's where they can, big picture, long term, start medicating themselves and not relying on pharmaceutical markets.
Yeah. Do you have like a recipe on how to do it? YouTube? Okay,
for people to YouTube.
That's true. What do you think is your favorite way? Is it edibles? To make edibles of it, or oils? Flour?
Yeah, I've been a connoisseur of sorts of flour for a long time, so that's why I've made it a point to have the best flour available on the Texas market, because I think that's where everything comes from. It all comes from the natural plant, and that's it in its most natural form. So that's kind of always been my go-to.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, do you have a source that you get it from, or?
Multiple
sources.
For me to actually source the best available, it takes more than one source. It takes, it's nationwide.
Awesome.
It's nationwide, from California to North Carolina.
Really? So all throughout?
All throughout.
There's a large distribution center associated with it. I didn't know that, actually.
Thank you guys for watching. Sean Timmermann, Gruene Botanicals. Give us a call at 830-627-9151 or check out our website, gruenebotanicals.com.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed that video, definitely check out our Instagram and Facebook. It is at Texas THC Doctor, where we post all of our reviews and little snippets of YouTube videos and updates about everything we're doing with Texas THC. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see y'all next week. Bye.